Paul from Model Builder International. Don't forget that as usual you can subscribe to the channel by using the link that's underneath the video. Then you'll get notified of all the new videos. And this time we're going to look at a kit from Mirage-Hobby. This one is the Podhalanin, I think I've said that right, 1/350th scale Polish torpedo boat. Okay, so what do we get in the box? Start with top opening box, pretty sturdy. There's nothing on the sides or the bottoms really. Just shows you some bits that are inside the kit. Now the Podhalanin was a pre-war Polish torpedo boat. It was actually built in Germany in 1917 and handed over to Poland after the war. And it wasn't until the 20s that she was commissioned. And she was decommissioned in 1938, I believe. So inside the box we have sprues all wrapped in bubble wrap, which is really nice. Inside, still in a plastic bag. Look at that in a second. Instructions decals are attached to the front here. Bit of historical information about the ship. And then we've got like 3D instructions, which is pretty neat. In what's that, 8 steps and 9 if you include painting. So that looks good. And a colour painting guide. And the colours are named and they're given in RAL numbers. So no manufacturer as such, but it's easy enough to work out. And you can also see there's rigging is shown on there and railings. So I'll have a look at those in a minute. Let's have a look at the parts. Just open this up. A link to Mirage Hobby's Facebook page. Another small sprue. Quality control sticker. And then we've got this sprue, this small attachment point, or small enough anyway. There's torpedo tubes on this one. Sides of the hull are smooth. There's no plating indicated on there at all. The deck seems smooth as well, although I don't believe this ship would have had wooden planking. There's the other part of the deck. Small parts in here. 2-part funnel. Overall it looks quite nice. I'm not seeing any flash anywhere. Attachment points look good. Some of the finer parts you might just cut, like here, cut the sprues, cut the sprue itself rather than at the attachment point, just so you don't break things as you take them off. And pieces up here as well with a small piece with multiple attachment points. There's no detail on the ship's boat. It's a 1/350th scale kit, so you could find some other figures to go with this one as well. So let's go through the steps. Let's have some close-up looks at the sprues. But looks like a nice, reasonably straightforward kit without too much troubles. Notice that even though there's no railings here, so you could add those extra yourself. Since they're 1/350, there's plenty of generic railings laying around. And the same with the rigging as well. So yeah, so look at the parts. The Podhalanin started as part of the Imperial German Navy and launched in 1917. After the First World War, she was eventually handed over to Poland to form part of the new Polish Navy. But it wasn't until 1924 that the ship was officially refitted and commissioned. And she basically worked as part of the Polish Navy right up to 1938, when she was used as a torpedo target, after obviously being decommissioned. After mobilisation, as the Second World War started, she was intended to be used as a floating oil tanker. But on September the 2nd, as she was being towed by a tugboat, she was sunk. The instructions start off with step 1, which is basically putting the hull together. You'll end up with a ship that's about 17 centimetres long and made up of roughly 100 parts. We start off with the 2 hull sides come together and 2 main parts of the deck and a few other small pieces before we move on to step 2, where we put the bridge together, or the wheelhouse. Step 3 is continuing that and building more in the same area in the bridge. And step 4 is adding more parts to this area as well. Step 5, where midships, fitting the funnel, ship's boat, the mast. Step 6, we move to the aft end of the ship and adding one of the ship's guns and other small parts. Step 7, we're sort of coming back up midships a little bit, fitting the twin torpedo tubes. And then finally step 8, at the front of the ship, fitting the other ship's gun and other small parts. On the back of the instructions, we've got some full 3D images of the ship from various angles, but there's no other parts to add on these diagrams. It notices viewing the finished model without ship railings, but there aren't actually any ship railings supplied in the kit. However, somebody did produce a PE set for this. It was produced by North Star Models, and you can still look around and find it here now. And it is hobbyterror.com. They've currently got it in stock for $15. So that would make a really nice upgrade. The painting guide is in colour and shows the 5 colours that are used, but the colours are named here and their REL numbers are given. However, if you look on the front page of the instructions, you'll see that the 5 colours are actually listed by their Vallejo numbers as well as pointing out some other parts of the ships that use each of the colours that may not be evident from the painting guide. And we also get a small decal sheet that will come in handy for this, including the flags, which is pretty neat. So an overall conclusion. It's an interesting choice of subject, one that will be especially attractive to people interested in the Polish interwar navy. It'll make a nice little kit. If you get the extra photo etch for it, it'll take it to the next level and bring the level of detail up to, should we say, the very latest standards. The sprues themselves, are 5 years old now, and you have to be careful taking some of the parts off the sprue. Some of the smaller parts, you might be easy just cutting the sprue apart rather than trying to remove the small parts. But that being said, you should end up with quite a nice little kit that would look rather nice on the shelf. Many thanks to Mirage-Hobby for sending it along for us to have a look at.